It is warm, it is crowded, and for the first time this decade, we bring you crosstown action. Bison taking on the Rustlers here tonight. It was a winter wonderland here this morning in October, but the show must go on for University of Providence. They have 2 soccer games going on tomorrow. Luckily, a few Argos have donated their time to make sure that those games will be played. Bison coming in with a record of 6-1. Their last loss came all the way back in November. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, the Rustlers 2-5, but looking to build off their big win against Belgrade on Saturday. A couple games ago, she was working with a double-double, and it seems like almost every night with her, you're going to get an easy double-double, and she's actually come pretty close to a triple-double on a few different occasions. But why don't we talk about who to look out for on the Montana Western side? This is a big game for the Providence Argos, to say the least. They started out 15-0. They've gone 5-4 since then. They got to figure out a way to get the win tonight. It's almost a reverse of the Argos conference record. Got a couple of players to look out for the Argos. You can't talk about the Argos if you're not going to talk about Zakia Starko-Kelly, the man with the thunderous dunks, but the man who's not just all about flash, he's all about putting the ball in the hoop.
This is a young team. This is a hungry team. Only 6 guys coming back from that championship team from last year. So the focus, a lot of it, is going to be on team chemistry.
For some people, this is just a flag. But for others, it represents hope and a symbol of new beginnings.
If you are not here yet, as you see the kids filing in with their instruments, I've got my instrument right here. If you're not here yet, you got to get down here. This is going to be a great game. Welcome into week 4 of the Friday Night Frenzy. Haley, we have got a busy evening tonight. A lot of huge games happening around the Treasure State. Haley, let's talk some Class B now. The Townsend Bulldogs remained in the 7th spot of our 406 MT Sports rankings this week. Weather outside may be starting to cool down, but the Grizz, they're just getting warmed up. And this is the time for teams to start making a push for the playoffs, separate the pretenders from the contenders. And 2 teams we expect to see in the postseason are Capital and Butte. Well, to quote the 6 God Drake, started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Now, I can't confirm or deny that Aubrey Graham was talking about the Great Falls Voyagers 2019 season, but it does fit. But Tony Froelich fair, sending it back like cold soup at a diner. Almost. Looking for a receiver, he finds Teague Fought up the middle for a big pickup, but the drive stalls out just like my car. Heisman hopeful Justin Herbert shakes off the potential sack and whips a great throw to the best name in sports, Johnny Johnson III, for the Ducks touchdown. Number 2, Glacier taking on Capital, Parker Johnson. He's got no business making this catch, but this is Goldman's golden moments. We don't show incompletions. On paper, this looks like a matchup that may not swing in your favor. What do you guys have to do tonight to change the odds? So we are in week 7 of the football season. I can't believe I'm saying that. It feels like we just started.
Exactly.
We've actually gone through 2 falls, 2 winters. I know the other day you guys had a practice in the snow.
We did.
Tell me about how fun that was. I know that has to be one of the more rewarding parts of your job. Let's talk a little bit more about head coaching. How long have you wanted to be a head coach? Because you've had a few coaching jobs already. Most recently, you were at Great Falls High. So tell me, how long have you had that itch? You've never had a head coaching job before. And that can be a difficult thing for a lot of people. You look in the NFL, you look at college football, a lot of guys struggle in their first year as a head coach. How are you going to kind of ease the transition from going from a non-head coaching role to being the guy?
Oh, that's ugly. That's ugly. And you can see he's in agony.
The dreaded torn ACL. With an average recovery time of nearly 8 months or more, it can be a devastating blow to any young athlete.
I laid there for a second trying to catch my breath.
Max Lane, a senior guard for the Fort Benton football team, tore his ACL week 3 of the season against Centerville, and when it happened, he didn't think it was as bad as it turned out to be.
I just kind of hopped up and wobbled back over to the sideline. My first thought was, well, this is really the only time I've ever thought about kind of laying there on the field. I didn't think it was that serious initially.
He's kind of a tough guy. Like, he's never really had any problems. And I thought maybe he just tweaked it up a little bit because I think he got in and tried to play again on it, and it didn't seem too bad.
But Max doesn't want to lay around and recover. After all, this is his senior year and his final go-around with his classmates. What he wants to do is get up, ball out, and compete for a state championship. Yes, even with a torn ACL, the last thing that he wants to do is take a break.
And sports have kind of been a part of my life forever, you know. There's a thing in the locker room that says, pain is temporary, greatness is forever. And so, to me, it's just a temporary thing that I kind of have to get through.
If he wasn't a senior, I wouldn't allow him to play this year, or try and talk him out of it at least. It would normally worry me for anybody else, but Max and I have sat down and we've talked, and we've kind of come to a conclusion where we're going to have kind of a pitch count with what he's going to help us out with. I'd rather have him at the end of the year for district divisional than at the beginning of the year.
It may seem crazy for Max to want to get back out there so quickly, but when time with your brothers is limited, doing something a little bit crazy can be completely justified. It's a call no one ever wants to get.
And he tells me that there's been an accident.
Tegan Isaacson's mom, Stephanie, died in a car accident nearly 5 years ago. The bond between a mother and son is a strong one. The bond between Stephanie and Tegan, even stronger. Tegan was diagnosed with childhood leukemia.
She was by my side no matter what, through thick and thin. She was my person. And it's tough to lose somebody like that.
Now, after a clean bill of health and nearly 5 years after her death, Tegan is using his own experience to help others. He's a student grief counselor at Centerville, talking with other students about grief, loss, and anything else to help get them through tough times.
He's one of the main reasons I did take the coaching job, at least apply for it. It can be a battle because you're a coach and you're a parent, and you're trying to separate the two, and we try to separate a lot of that at home.
In addition to helping others deal with adversity, Tegan is helping his teammates on the court, right alongside his dad, Josh.
He's a lot harder on me than most people, but he's a good guy and he's a good coach, and I like playing for him, and I wouldn't ever change that.
In his last go-around with the Miners, Tegan's been a top scorer for Centerville all season long and carried that tradition into divisionals last weekend. Tegan led the Miners to a third-place finish, with both his parents looking on.
I guarantee you she's been at everything anyways, and she would want him to keep going. She was that kind of person.
I can tell you that night at the consolation game, I knew she was there, and that was a special thing for me.
As for after graduation, Tegan said that just like he's done for years, he's just going to let things play out and see what life has in store for him. Reporting in Centerville, Leo Goldman, SWX.